Okay, so good day, ladies and gentlemen. In this short video, we're going to look at how we create a trace table for this computer program that we've got here, or this algorithm. So what I've got is, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I've got a column in my table for every variable. So I've got one variable here called counter, and then I've got my column here for the counter, and then I've got, as I scan through, there are no other variables, but there is this predicate, or this condition. So I'm going to put that as a column as well. I've got my input column just to show that if I have any inputs, what the values were passed in. Now, in this algorithm, there aren't any inputs, but let's just put the column there for good measure. And finally, I've got outputs. So when I print out, this column will show what it is I'm printing out. And then I just start at the top with counter equals 0. So counter equals 0. Then the next line is counter is less than or equal to 4. That's going to be true. Then print counter is counter. So now I'm going to get some output. Counter is 0. And then counter equals counter plus 1. Well, it was 0, so now it's 1. Then I'm going to go back up. That's the end of my while loop, so I'm going to go back up to this line here. Is counter less than 4? Yes, that's true. So print counter is now 1. Then the next line, counter equals counter plus 1. Counter was 1, so now it's going to be 2. Come back up to the while loop. Counter is less than 4. True. So we're going to go back around the loop again. So then I have an output. So now the counter is going to be equal to 2. Once again, counter equals 3. That's true. Get another go around the loop. Counter is now 3. Counter equals counter plus 1. So now the counter equals 4. So counter is less than 4. Well, counter equals 4. So that's going to be false. So now that we're false, we're not going to go around that loop anymore. We're going to come down to line 7. And I'm just going to output. So the final values of my variables, counter is 4. The predicate is false. And then all of the values, my input, sorry. And then this column here gives me all of my outputs, which if I run the program should match. Counter is 0, 1, 2, 3, finished. So just to recap, the steps that we went through were put your input and your output columns, identify all of the variables, and each variable gets a column, identify all of the predicates or conditions, and each one of those gets a column too. And then you start at the top and you start working your way down. Okay, so I hope that was a useful example. And as always, I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.